critical minerals, or strategic green minerals, as we call them in Africa, because they are strategic for us, and they are critical for the global north because they have rarity of supply. They use them for their, access is vulnerability of access, etc. That's why they call them critical. We call them strategic. But let me go back to my center, the African Minerals Development Center. We are at the African Union. We are a specialized agency of the African Union, and our main is to implement the Africa Mining Vision. So this vision has existed since 2009. That was 14 years ago. And we were thinking about this issue of value addition and in making sure that value is accrued from minerals for sustainable development and inclusive growth since 2009, because there was a commodities boom back then. So did we have tangible results up to now is a question. And I like that, this audience is very down to earth, and I don't have to talk about very high level. What have you achieved within the last 14 years? The AMV existed, and when you see the EU critical minerals strategy, it's very much AMV, basically. But they went ahead and they have an act, it became mandatory, etc. But we are still at that level, and we're trying to now talk about implementation. That's another issue. So it's been 14 years. AMDC has first started as a project under the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa. So it's transitioned to the AU only last year, to 2022. So we have 1 year. Basically, what we try to implement is we look at it from the whole value chain. We start, of course, with the revenue, and that's why maybe the financing comes in. How do we get the most out of minerals with the revenue? So maximizing taxation, royalties, optimizing that. But of course, as we know, a lot of it is going through illicit financial flows, transfer pricing, all of it. So how do we really get the domestic resources out of it is to add value and get to the level of at least, when we talk about, Nkobile talked about the battery. So we have examples. I won't tell stories, but I'll talk about practical issues. Like the Democratic Republic of Congo and Zambia, they just signed a cooperation agreement to have a precursor plant in DRC and Zambia. A battery precursor plant. It's a cathode. It's not a nickel, manganese, cobalt. So that requires value addition processing. It's not just exporting raw materials. So if you see the market of this battery electric vehicle, if you just say at the raw exporting raw materials, is only 11 billion, the market. It might look a lot, but when you go to the precursor level, the one that I just talked about, nickel, manganese, cobalt, it requires some processing. You go up to 270 billion market. And if you go to the whole battery, and then you go to the whole battery, you get to 7.7 trillion. That's the market you're targeting. So talk about financing. If you target those markets, that's when you get actual revenue from the mining. So you can finance all the other renewable energy and all others that you talk about. So basically, at this summit, at the Africa Climate Summit yesterday, we launched the Africa Green Mineral Strategy. So we developed it in collaboration with the African Development Bank. And so it exactly talks about this green mineral strategy is about value addition, basically. But it's just not theory and just a framework. It tells you what needs to be done practically. Like I like the practicality that you mentioned in the power, what it takes to get solar, etc. And this green mineral strategy is not only to take value out of the minerals, but it's also about electrifying. So I was wondering, even when you talked about solar panels, what the cost might be that, because we are importing those solar panels. As you know, these solar panels require a lot of the minerals that we have to produce these solar panels themselves. So why are we not manufacturing them in Africa? And I think you mentioned, why don't we have a united voice in Africa? So there's another, the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, that's supposed to allow you to do that. Manufacture and get, for instance, you have lithium in Zimbabwe, cobalt in DRC, manganese in South Africa, graphite in Mozambique, nickel in Madagascar, so why don't you use that to have one plant, for instance, in DRC? So these are the kind of things that we are advocating for. We are a bureaucratic institution, I have to say. It's the African Union, but we have to be innovative. And for us, actually, if we go by bureaucracy, we have to have ratifications, 15 ratifications by African heads of states to be really a specialized agency and be mandated to work. We only have 3 currently. But is that stopping us from, we are at the summit, we are advocating all of this? Because if we wait to get the 15 ratification, and those ratification, you have to sign, then it goes to the Ministry of Mines, and then Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because there's financial implication, it goes to finance, and then it goes to Parliament. So it's a long process. So that's why I like this space, because if we wait for all this process to come, we'll never move, like nothing will happen. So we just do, and then we see, we block, and then if they tell us, no, you're not supposed to do this, then we say, okay, that's the approach we are using right now, because we can't afford to be bureaucratic and process-oriented. So my message is that we are happy when we see this kind of innovative initiatives by young people. We like innovative ideas, so we welcome Enzi Ijayo, and hopefully this kind of conversations will also go further. That's for now. Thank you.
Thank you.